Picture this. It's 480 BC. The Mediterranean world is a powder keg ready to explode. On one side, the mighty Persian Empire hungry for conquest. Think of them as the cool kids in school, except they could conquer your entire civilization. On the other side, the feisty Greek city-states, fiercely independent. Tensions had been simmering for years. The Persians, led by Darius, had tasted Greek defiance. A decade earlier, the Athenians humiliated Darius at Marathon. Darius died, but his son, Xerxes, sought revenge. Xerxes mustered an enormous army to crush Greek resistance. The Greeks knew what was coming. The Persian war machine was rolling their way. But the Greeks had a burning love of freedom. They formed an alliance to resist the invaders. This alliance faced its first test at Thermopylae, the Hot Gates. Leading the Greek alliance was Sparta, a city-state practically synonymous with military prowess. Think of them as the Navy SEALs of the ancient world, disciplined, fearless, and more than a little intimidating. The Spartans lived for war. They trained for it from childhood, and they embraced it with a chilling intensity. Commanding the Spartan contingent was King Leonidas, a man born to lead from the front lines.
I'm not just a king, I'm a Spartan king. Courage, discipline, and a willingness to sacrifice everything for the state. That's what I stand for.
Imagine a king who'd rather die with his men than retreat to safety. That's Leonidas. On the other side of the battlefield stood Xerxes, the Persian king of kings.
I am a ruler so powerful, I have people whose only job is to fan me with giant leaves and whisper sweet nothings about my magnificence.
Xerxes traveled in style, with a baggage train that included everything from concubines to portable gardens. This was a guy who knew how to conquer in comfort. Xerxes expected the Greeks to cower before his massive army. He assumed they'd choose surrender over certain death. What he didn't count on was the Spartan capacity for stubborn resistance, for turning a tactical disadvantage into a glorious last stand. Imagine a narrow coastal pass sandwiched between towering cliffs and the unforgiving Aegean Sea. That's Thermopylae, the Hot Gates, named for the sulphurous hot springs that bubbled nearby. It wasn't exactly a vacation destination, but for a small force trying to hold off a much larger one, it was the perfect choke point. For the Greeks, Thermopylae offered a chance to even the odds. The narrow pass negated the Persian advantage in numbers, forcing Xerxes to funnel his massive army into a confined space where the Greeks could make every man count. Think of it as trying to fit an elephant through a doggy door, not easy.
Leonidas knew that holding Thermopylae, even temporarily, could buy precious time for the other Greek city-states to organize their defenses. It was a suicide mission, but one with strategic significance. The fate of Greece might very well hinge on their ability to hold this narrow strip of land.
The Persian army arrived at Thermopylae, a sea of soldiers stretching as far as the eye could see. Xerxes, probably sipping on something cool and refreshing, sent emissaries to demand the Greeks surrender.
Their weapons, the Persians said, would block out the sun.
Then we will fight in the shade.
Meat drop. For 2 days, the Spartans and their Greek allies held the pass against wave after wave of Persian attacks. The Persians threw everything they had at the Greek lines: archers, infantry, even their elite immortals, so called because their ranks were supposedly never allowed to fall below 10,000. But the Greeks held firm, their disciplined formations and superior weaponry taking a heavy toll on the attackers. Imagine the scene: Persian arrows raining down on the Greek lines, the clash of steel on bronze, the guttural screams of men locked in mortal combat. The air thick with the stench of sweat, blood and fear. Yet, the Spartans held, their discipline and courage unshaken. Section 5. Outnumbered, not outmatched Spartan tactics. The Spartans were masters of warfare, and at Thermopylae they demonstrated why.
They fought in a phalanx formation, a tightly packed wall of shields and spears that was practically impenetrable to frontal assaults.
Imagine a rugby scrum, but with swords and shields, and you're getting close.
The Spartans used the narrow terrain to their advantage, funneling the Persians into killing zones where their superior numbers meant nothing.
They fought with a ferocity and discipline that terrified their enemies.
The Persians, accustomed to easy victories, found themselves facing an enemy that simply refused to back down.
Even when a treacherous Greek shepherd showed the Persians a secret path through the mountains, a path that allowed them to outflank us, we refused to yield.
We knew our sacrifice would buy time for the rest of Greece, and that was a price we were willing to pay.
Section 6. The Last Stand, a sacrifice for the ages. With the Persians closing in from behind, Leonidas knew the end was near.
He dismissed most of the Greek contingent, ordering them to live to fight another day. But for Leonidas and his 300 Spartans, there would be no retreat.
They had chosen their fate, and they would face it with their trademark courage. The final battle was a testament to Spartan bravery.
Surrounded and hopelessly outnumbered, we fought like cornered lions, our spears and swords claiming countless Persian lives.
Even as they fell, one by one, they took a terrible toll on their enemies.
Legend has it that Xerxes, watching from a safe distance, was horrified by the Spartans' tenacity. He had expected them to break, to flee, to plead for their lives.
Instead, they fought with a fury that bordered on madness. The Spartans fought to the last man, their bodies a testament to their unwavering courage.
The Battle of Thermopylae might have been a military defeat for the Greeks, but it became a moral victory of epic proportions. It was a defeat that resonated through the ages, a story of courage, sacrifice, and unwavering defiance in the face of overwhelming odds. Thermopylae became a symbol of what free men could accomplish, even when facing insurmountable challenges. It showed that courage and determination could make even the smallest force a formidable opponent. The Spartan sacrifice at Thermopylae inspired the Greeks to unite against the Persians, ultimately leading to their victory in the war. But Thermopylae's legacy extends far beyond the battlefield. It became a touchstone for Western civilization, a story that has been told and retold for centuries, inspiring artists, writers, and filmmakers. It's a story that reminds us that even in defeat, there can be glory, and that some things are worth fighting for, even unto death.
The Battle of Thermopylae has been a gift to filmmakers, a story practically begging to be told on the big screen. From epic historical dramas to action-packed blockbusters, Thermopylae has been reimagined for generations of moviegoers. One of the most famous cinematic depictions of Thermopylae is the 2006 film 300, a visually stunning, albeit highly stylized, take on the battle. With its slow-motion fight sequences and graphic violence, 300 captured the brutal reality of ancient warfare while also showcasing the Spartans' legendary fighting prowess. While 300 took some liberties with historical accuracy, let's just say the Spartans weren't exactly fighting in leather speedos. It captured the spirit of Thermopylae, the courage, the sacrifice, and the unwavering defiance in the face of overwhelming odds. The film's success is a testament to the enduring power of the Thermopylae story.
Today, the battlefield of Thermopylae is a quiet place, a far cry from the chaos and carnage of that fateful battle. But the memory of the 300 Spartans and their Greek allies lives on, their courage etched into the very landscape. A simple monument stands near the site of the last stand, a testament to the Spartan sacrifice. It bears the inscription, "Go tell the Spartans, stranger passing by, that here, obedient to their laws, we lie." These words, attributed to the poet Simonides, perfectly capture the Spartan ethos, the willingness to die for their city, their comrades, and their way of life. Every year, thousands of visitors from around the world make the pilgrimage to Thermopylae, drawn by the story of courage and sacrifice. They come to pay their respects, to stand on the ground where heroes fell, and to remember that even in the face of insurmountable odds, the human spirit can prevail.
The Battle of Thermopylae, though a military defeat, stands as a timeless testament to the power of courage, sacrifice, and unwavering resolve. It's a story that has resonated across centuries, inspiring generations with its message of defiance in the face of overwhelming odds. Thermopylae reminds us that true courage isn't the absence of fear, but the willingness to confront it, to stand firm in the face of danger, even when the odds are stacked against us. It's a message that transcends time and place, a message that is as relevant today as it was over 2,000 years ago. In a world often defined by cynicism and self-interest, Thermopylae reminds us that there are still things worth fighting for, principles worth defending, even at the cost of our own lives. It's a story that challenges us to be better, to live up to the ideals of courage, sacrifice, and unwavering integrity embodied by those who fought and died at the hot gates.